All right, reading books is one thing that can change your life forever. So this past year is when I really started getting more into books and having to read more. Like I was already reading by myself, but it was kind of like slop. I was reading like mangas, like stuff like that. Really just slop, just really not doing anything for me. But I always read like some real books, of course. I was really big on like self improvement books, like things like this, the Six Disciplines, things that I could use in the future and actually help me, right? Something I developed this year is a saying I'd be like, why scroll on social media when you could read a book and gain like 1,000 years of knowledge? I was kind of just like repeating that to myself this entire year, and it's kind of what encouraged me to read so many books. Like I'd say my collection has grew to like I have like over 20 books now, and now when I see these challenging books, probably like I don't know if you could say really challenging, but I'll see something like 300 pages. I'll be like, oh, that's not too much. I can finish that in a week or a couple of days, and I can really just read for long periods of time while actually being able to retain the knowledge and use it in the future. And there's also methods that I use sometimes when I'm really just scanning and looking for something to write about or learn. For example, reading certain books, you're not supposed to like read it thoroughly, like deeply, like read every single word of the page. On certain books, you really don't have to do that. Like in a lot of these like self help books, probably like books like 48 Laws of Powers, the Six Disciplines right here, or the Art of War, and those types of things you don't have to read every single page. You can go directly to what you need, and you can read from there. Like you can really start the book from any chapter. Like that's a thing that I feel like it's holding a lot of people back. They feel like they have to read the first chapter to get to the next one. No, it's really just it's your decision. Another thing is that reading is becoming like really performative. Like you feel like it's a competition to read. Like you see people on Goodreads, try harding, or you see all these YouTube videos where they're recommending books or saying books that you have to read and that you have to stay disciplined. You have to take a whole bunch of notes. You have to write everything down. But realistically, if you're just getting into like reading books, like that's gonna be terrible for you. That's not really gonna help you. It's gonna kind of make you like discipline. Like you're not really gonna want to keep doing that every day if you're making it this huge task. And something else, read what you want to read. Don't feel obligated to read something that you saw others read. Like I had this book Count of Monte Cristo, right? I hear a lot about it that it changes your life, all of that. I can say I didn't really want to read the book. I just felt like it was necessary for me to read the book. And that really took the joy out of me reading it. So I kind of like slowed it. I ended up never finishing it because it wasn't a book I truly wanted to read. It felt like a book that I was forced to read if I wanted to keep up with like other readers. And that's the thing. Don't try to make reading a competition or like a habit that you have to do. Make it something that's enjoyable. Cause once you like try to create into a habit, you won't do it as much anymore. Like get in a topic you're actually interested about. Like if you're interested in copywriting, you would read cash advertising, learning how to write amazing copy. If you're interested in classics, you would read like books like The Picture of Dorian Gray, one of my favorite books. And there's really books on anything. There's also this book called Ultra Learning by Scott Young, where you could really just, actually sit there and read. You can learn how people learn things in like 1 year. There's this dude that learned Spanish and then did a public speaking competition. And then Scott Young himself, he finished a whole entire MIT course by himself without having an actual professor or attending any of the classes and ended up securing jobs from that. There's things like this that should really encourage you to read because you're not really going to get the same value anywhere else. And I'll tell you guys something right now. You see these like people on social media or YouTube, I could say, they make books on certain. I mean, they make videos on certain things like how to win friends and influence, or they said how to better your communication skills. They're taking this all from books or people they heard that have read these books. These once you like start reading, you start to realizing all these concepts that people are talking about are already coming from these books. Like there, it's really surprising that you begin to notice things. You're like, oh, this is probably where that person learned that. Like I heard this before, and it came directly from that book. So you reading these books is actually gonna bring more value instead of just watching those videos. But overall, books have changed the way I think, the way I act in certain places, and they also give you motivation. Once you see like or hear all these stories going on about people learning an amazing skill winning Spanish competitions, completing coursework, learning how to use AI. That you can learn that all through books, and it'll put you ahead of most people because most people feel like they can't pick up a book or something they can read. Even if you have to listen to audiobooks, you're guaranteed to gain knowledge more than listening to like Chief Keef or something. I listen to rap music a lot. I'm not gonna act like I don't sometimes I try to put an audiobook on, but that doesn't really work for me. I end up playing music anyway. So that's why I'm kind of like more into the actual physical books. But yeah, read books that you want to read. Don't read books that you feel like you're forced to read. And don't make reading turn into a habit that you have to do. Turn it into something that you enjoy and you look forward to.